Greetings, YouTube. This is garthrs, and this is my desktop. Anyway, brief discussion right away. Get this out of the way. Apparently, right now, what's called video bumping is out and about. I don't want anybody to think I'm going to be video bumping, but what I'm going to do is record about 3 or 4 episodes, upload them, and only mark them as public as I want them released. Since I'm going on vacation, I don't want you guys to not have anything for me for a week, so I'm going to do a couple of videos and then just mark them public as I can. That way I don't have to worry about uploading them or taking them with me or whatever, or just dumping them all on you at once and only 2 or 3 of them getting viewed. So with that out of the way, I'm going to do a short how-to series on Dwarf Fortress. That's right, people, you heard me. Dwarf Fortress. Now, first of all, if you don't know what this game is, it's by Bay12 Games. You can download the latest version, which is 0.31.25, anywhere you want here. Blah blah blah. Tells you a little bit about the game. There's all kinds of cool information in there. There's forums. There's the Magma Wiki, which I'll put a link to in the description. There's all kinds of ways to do this. Now, if you just download the vanilla game here, you're going to get this type of graphics. You're going to get stuff that honestly, like this little spade here, and you got an N or like a quotation marks. I mean, this stuff's kind of hard to really figure out. So I will come down. Oh, make sure to see this right here. This guy puts it all out for free. It's open source, everything. So if you're generous, you click that button, skadoosh, make it happen. The other way to play this game is to go to the Lazy Noob Pack on the B12 forums. You can find Lazy Noob Pack if you just Google Lazy Noob Pack. It's pretty easy. If you don't know how to use the Google, I'll show you real fast. You go up here and you type www.google.com, just like that, right? And then you type in here, my girlfriend is a Ninetales fox, an agent, whatever that is. And you can also do like a robot, a Japanese movie. It's pretty much anything. But if you type in the Lazy Noob Pack, you see it in all of its glory. And it's even like shows up right there. You know, Google's all like, I know what you want and I will give it to you. But here you go. You click on the download or Mediafire, whichever you prefer, and you can download the Lazy Noob Pack. Now, that being said, let's close that out. Let's come over here and YouTube Dwarf Fortress Lazy Noob Pack. I've already got it extracted to my... Oh, what? Who? Huh? What? What does that mean? Oh my goodness. There's all kinds of badness going on here. So let's just do this the cheap way. Okay, so this is the Lazy Noob Pack. The Lazy Noob Pack window, I should say, the GUI. It has several options here. The best way to play is to leave it set up. This first page, just leave it set up like this for now, because you're gonna die about 1,000 times. It's cool though. It's part of the thing. Now the graphics pack, like I showed you, it's kind of basic. But if you add one of these, my favorite is this one right here, and you just say install graphics. The graphic settings and RAWs will be changed. Okay, sounds like a plan to me. You can update your save games. It'll do all that for you. Graphics installed. Would you like to? Yes. Oh, save games update. That's right, because I'm starting a fresh, brand new one just for you. Now the font, you might want to play around with this. True type fonts. I like yes. I like the way it looks. Looks a little better, a little more better. Now on the utilities tab, you have a bunch of utilities. These are all programs that come with the Lazy Noob Pack that you can run. Now this one I highly recommend. It's called SoundSense, actually, which requires us to go back to the very first page. Is it first page? Utilities, advanced. Go to advanced and click no on the sound. Just whoop, make sure it says no, not yes, but no, the opposite. And you can turn off the intro movie and we'll run it windowed. This is good. But you go back here and you open SoundSense. It'll open like this. Some things will flow down through here. They say words and things with slashes and dots and biscuits and whatnot. Loaded 19 items. It'll look for your game log, and all you have to do is navigate to that window when my computer decides to respond. There it is. You go to Lazy New Pack, Dwarf Fortress, and you're looking for game log.txt right there. Boo, booyakasha. And you click open. This opens. Now, the first time you run this, you're going to have to come over here to Sound Pack Update, the very third tab, and you click Start Automatic Update. And it'll actually go out and get all of the sound files that it uses, which is pretty cool of it. It's pretty spectacular, and it's pretty awesome. You can see it has all these sounds. There's a whole lot of sounds that it downloads. So basically what I'm going to do is let this download, and then I'll come back later. Be back in a minute. If you are done, you will see this sound bar says done or restart SoundSense. So what you do is you close this window, and then you open SoundSense again. Now that update took probably about maybe 5 minutes roundabout. The important thing is to open SoundSense first. Now I forgot to say something, and something you definitely want to check, and your save related under the advanced tabs. You want to auto save on seasonal, and auto backup makes sense. It does lag a little bit when the seasons change because it has to both save and make a backup, but you'll thank yourself later. So anyways, because this way if you get overrun, you can always go back in and continue back at your last seasonal change and try to do a little better. You can also, if you have a slower computer, you can change the processor priority for this file. Right there. So you want it to pause on load. You want it to pause on autosave. So this should be good. And then after you have SoundSense open, like we do, you click Play Dwarf Fortress. Bloop. Just like that. And oh, that's loud.
You're so very loud. I'm going to turn you down a little bit. 15.
Okay, so you have several options here. When you first start the game, you'll only have this create new world at the top. You won't have a continue. So what you want to do is you want to, let's maximize this. Bam! Look at that. That's some pretty small print. If you can't see this, I apologize. I'll make it bigger. Oh wait, there we go. Make it bigger with your mouse wheel. So I'll hit the enter. Press enter to select the option. This tells you about this, blah blah blah. Welcome to Alpha, this and that, and everybody loves me, and I'm super awesome, and darn right he is. I mean, this game is so very deep, it's not even funny. He should basically just put a little sign here that says toot toot, because this guy's horn is very loud. He's done some great work. The game is incredible to play. It's a lot of fun. So we type in ESC to continue, and then we can pick our world size. Medium is good. Pretty much everything here as it sits is good. If you play a couple games and you find that you're not getting the mineral occurrences that you want, this screen is not where you need to pay attention. What you need to do is pick your sites a little bit better, and I'll walk you through doing that right now. So we want to go to Y for go. Y, and it's basically generating the world. And basically what it does is it goes through and it generates the world, and then it places monsters and civilizations. It's running around like a monkey with its head cut off. Now it's actually generating a history. And depending on your history choices that you had on the slider, it depends on how many years it'll generate. And right now, I think it's going to generate 150 for me. But as it does that, civilizations will rise and fall, which is kind of cool. You hear that music in the background? Yeah, that's what the sound sense is. That might be still a little bit too loud, so I'm going to turn it down just a skosh. A boot right there, just as a general background. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. Oh, I guess I'm going to 200 years. But that's what it does. It's actually generating a history for this whole world that we've just generated. Civilizations, like I said, will rise and fall. So I'm going to pause this until it comes back. Okay, so I was wrong. It goes up to 250 years with that selection. So you may want to take the history down a tick, because that took about, I don't know, 3 minutes. First couple of years, first 100 or so years kind of fly by, but then gets a little bit mo. And we can look around our world. This is, of course, the, I guess, polar ice caps or some crap like that. Let's see what this is. Move with your arrow keys. This is the Dark Goblin Fortress of Smoogachuga, Blizzards of Playing. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Let's see what this is. A Dark Goblin Fortress. Oh my gosh! And here we have the Human Fortress. Ooh, they're really close to the goblins. Alright. There's several races in here, and one of the races that will annoy you the most will be the elves. Dwarves and humans and goblins and all kinds of other nonsense. Let's see, Human Fortress. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in here. What's this? Yeah, the Hills of Thundering. The Glad Continent. So anyways, we're going to go to enter for accept. And boom. And a lot of these names are randomly generated, so they may not make a lot of sense, but some of them, they're pretty entertaining. So enter. It's saving the world, offloading units. There's 2,357 of them. Offloading, blah, 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 synchronizing folders, and this is all done behind the scenes. When it was generating that history, my fraps frame rate indicator was 1 the whole time. So if the video's a little bit choppy there, that's why. Okay, now the world's been generated. It's been saved. We have a new option here. It says start playing. Skadoosh. Now there's 3 ways to play this game. There is the Dwarf Fortress mode, which I'm going to play, Adventurer, which I'm not going to play, and Legends, which I'm also not going to play. Now the good thing is, if you're playing in Dwarf Fortress and you make a fortress and you abandon that fortress, you can actually go back in Adventurer and adventure in that fortress. You know what I'm saying? You can explore it, you can see all the things that you created. So the world's folder, region 1, they're, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're persistent. Whatever changes you make in your Dwarf Fortress are going to appear in Legends or Adventurer. Okay, so since we're going to play Dwarf Fortress, we're going to select that option. So I hit Enter, and now you get 3. You get 3 screens here. This is the world map, this is the region map, and this is the area map. The region is within the world, and the local is within the region. Does it make sense? Yeah, I know it does. It's awesome. Now these icons are all over that place. But as you see, when I move with my UMKH, which is kind of like WASD in a different formation. U moves us up, H to the left, K to the right, and M goes down. Anyway, as you move it around, you see this is your actual play area, this 4x4 square. So as you move it around, you'll see that these options over here on the right are changing. A couple of things that you want to take note of. Temperature, trees, vegetation, and surroundings. Those are very important. Those are going to design our features. Now we want warmer, so we're going to have to obviously go north. And to move on the larger map, you use your arrow keys. In the middle map, you use your arrow keys. So we go up to warm, and we look for something that looks like it might have some vegetation. Yellow is kind of scary, and red is super bad. So if you see like a red word, you know it's going to make playing a little more difficult. Like right here, this is warm, it's woodland, it's moderate on vegetation, and the surroundings are wilderness. Now the downside here is it has an aquifer, and the other downside is this area over here on the left, you see these blocked out grids. That means there's already something there. So the only place I could really build would be right here in the green area. So this actually belongs to the Kusi Thirth, and this is size tab and the Kusi Thirth. So we don't want that. So obviously teddy bear icons is something that we don't want. So now things we don't want over here is aquifer. Aquifer is like water underground. You dig into it, and next thing you know, your fort is a swimming pool. So you want to be careful of aquifers. You also want to look for very deep soil, shallow metals, plural, multiple, deep metals, flux stone. Those are important. They're not everywhere. So see how the flux stones just disappeared there? So what you want basically is to find something that suits your needs up here and down here. So it takes a little while to find it. So what a lot of people do is they use the find desired locations, which allows you to tailor your searches so it kind of rules areas out for you. Like, let's see, I'll show you. Go to F, and it brings up your find desired locations. You go down to savagery, you want low savagery. Your evil, you want low evil. Now basically it'll do anything that meets that criteria. So none would meet the low criteria. Temperature, you want medium, so it'll show anything, I guess, in the medium range, which is temperate, I believe. And you come down to rain, doesn't matter, drainage doesn't matter. You always want flux-stone on a yes and aquifer on a no. Now, when you get to river, that's kind of nicety, but you don't really need them. Shallow metals, you want to go to multiple. And deep metals, you want to go to multiple. And you want soil, you want some or deep. Either one of those. Some is usually good. So then when you are fairly happy with that, you hit enter to do search. And it goes into its search, and you see the red X's appearing in lands that do not meet your criteria. And as it goes through that map, it'll find areas that do or do not meet your criteria. So I'm going to pause this until it's done doing its search, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I had to go back in and take off savagery and evil because it wasn't finding anything, and I think what it was doing was actually looking for those two things. But I went through and I got some other areas. You see these green flashing areas? These are areas that meet the criteria that I have asked for. So what you got to do, on your world map, you could see those. We can come over here and we can see a more expanded view. So what we want to do now is we want to browse the results. So we hit the ESC button, and the very first thing we come to, we see warm, sparse, moderate, wilderness, clay, some soil, deep metals. See the S at the end, it's very important. I'm sorry, shallow metals, deep metals, and the flux stone. So what we're looking for basically is something very much like this with a better result there. So let's move around this general area. Sparse still. So let's go over and down one. Oh, there we got some woodland. And it's got a river in it. So let's move us over. Oh, let's see, got sparse on me. There we go. Got woodland. You wanna try to grab some of that river for multiple reasons. This looks like a really good spot. The downside is it doesn't look like it's got too much elevation on it. We're gonna dig anyways, but I'd like to have a mountainside. That would be nice. Let's look at this. If you hit tab, you can cycle through the different views. The first view we have here is who all lives here, and it looks like we have goblins would be close by, or not at all. Okay, hold on a second. The dashes might mean no. I think they mean no. So we got dwarves, humans, and elves. Alright, the next tab takes us down to the civilizations around about. You can move through these with your plus or minus, and as you'll see on the world map, the icons move around. That is the trades of warding are in that area. The metal of stilling is in that area, you see, and you basically pick which one of these you want to be from. I think it's best to pick one close by. So right there, the rampart of nations, because that seems fairly close. So we'll hit tab again, and these are elevation. Yeah, this is what I thought. There's a lot of low elevations here, which means we don't have a lot of mountain range or hills or cliffs. Let's find out about the cliffs, which is the next tab. Which, yeah, we got a few cliffs there, but not many. I don't know, man. This looks like a good spot, except for the lack of hills. So let's go up and encompass some of those. Let's see what we lost. We lost trees. Oh, okay. I was wondering why that wasn't working. Temperate, warm, savanna, freshwater marsh. Another thing you do is you can view different biomes, like F1 is that biome, and F2 is that biome. So this is actually almost an entirely separate entity right there. Let's go down here. We might come back to that. Alright, there's a lot of, oh my goodness, this is perfect. This is perfect. Oh, it's got deep soil right there. Boo! Right there in the river. This is it. Let's see what the elevation is. It's probably going to be even lower, flatlander, but what do? No goblins, rampart of nations. Oh, wait! Look at that! Oh, yes! This is This is what we want. Okay, so what we're looking at there is the elevation is right on the edge of my map. You can see I'm about midpoint. If I go over just one like that, I'm up into high. So I got some good slopes there, some good flat spots. Oh yeah, and a little bit of river still in there. Oh, I think that might be it. Yes, we're gonna do. We're gonna embark right there. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna click E or hit E for embark. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to embark here? This is your only warning. Now, if there's like an aquifer there, it'll say something about that. If there's any kind of like, if you decided to embark in a goblin fortress, they're going to say, hey, you got some enemies around. It's going to give you some warnings right now. So it didn't give me any warnings other than this is your only warning. So I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? Don't tell me what to do. There's several ways that you can play this game. There's several ways that you can set yourself up for success or failure or whatever. Play now will set you up with the very basics. Prepare for your journey carefully allows you to go in there and tailor your dwarves and their gear specifically. Use different setups. These will automatically do it. Like you'll have 2 miners, a woodcutter, a mason, a crafter, a fisher, a farmer, a cook. These are all good. They're all good. It's up to you how you play your character or how you play your dwarves, because you're going to start with 7 dwarves. What I like to do is I like to use the lazy noob pack because it covers everything that I need. Initially, I'm not going to need 2 farmers. I'm going to need a brewer. I don't cook anything for a while anyways. So what I do is I take one of my farmers and I usually turn them into a refuse carrier, general manual laborer, and a brewer as needed, because you don't need to stockpile mass amounts of dwarven ale or whatever to win the game. It's just there's no winning the game, but you know what I'm saying. But for this purpose, I'm going to go through the prepare for your journey carefully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this one and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to go in here as my 7 dwarves. There's their names, and then you see the number 10 beside each one of them. Basically, that's the number of points that I can spend on professions. Now I always want 2 miners, so you go with your plus or minus keys. You want 2 competent miners. With your arrow keys you move back and forth. So now I'm going to go down to Sackzul and make him or her, I don't know, a competent miner. So those 2 are going to be competent miners, and that's pretty much all they're going to do. Now as I'm using their skill points, I'm also using, if you look down here, I'm also using regular points. I get so many points to lead out the game, and you can tailor your gear and your dwarves using these points. So I don't want skills that I don't need. So you don't want to make everybody high master or legendary or whatever. Just use up your points. What you want is the basics. Competent is the way to go, in my opinion. So come back over here, and we're going to go down to this guy, and he's going to be competent woodcutter is only going to speed up his woodcutting. So I'm going to go down to carpenter, and I'm going to make him a competent carpenter and a novice woodcutter. That's it. Right there. That's all he is. So come back over to this guy, and this is going to be my competent mason, novice engraver, and novice building designer. That covers those 3. Engraver is a guy who can engrave walls. If I want to, I can pick him up later. Not a building designer. You have to have the architect toggled so that he'll go to a build site and say, yeah, this building is ready for building. So without an architect, your buildings won't get built. It's very important. Okay, so you come back over here, and mason, of course, obviously is the guy who works with the stone. So we come back down to this peasant. Now we need this person to have a set of skills, and they are going to be a grower, an herbalist, and a brewer. Now cooking will come later. You'll get plenty of stuff for that later, so don't worry about that. So you want the grower, the herbalist, and the brewer. And you come back over here to your next person down, and you want, let's see, I got these 2 guys are miners, and that's all they do. So that's miner. This person is a woodcutter and a carpenter, mason, building designer, grower. What's this other person need to be? You need to have at least 1 mechanic, because you got to make mechanisms. And since he's going to be a mechanic as well, and he's not going to be doing a lot of other stuff, I'm going to kind of help myself out here, and I'm going to make him a... Now everybody does this different, so you may see people go, well, I don't understand that. I'm going to make him a wound dresser, a diagnostician, a surgeon, a bone doctor, a suturer. And then I'm going to come all the way down here to appraiser and go boosh, like that. He's now my broker. And this guy, Tirist Mulavuzazizazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazazaz because anything I want him to do later, I can always enable that job on him, and he can just do it like a noob, and he'll eventually get better at it. So that's that. So now we're going to go to items, because these are important. Now it starts out with some regular items. Sometimes you won't get an anvil, or you might get a steel anvil, which uses up a whole lot of points, but iron anvil will definitely take it. A lot of people say, yeah, you can wait till the first caravan. Caravans don't always bring them, and then you're just sitting there with a bunch of metal on your hands and nothing to hammer it against. So first thing you want to do is go up here and make sure you have the exact number of picks that you have miners. Battle axes are fine. I usually don't take them because in a pinch in the beginning, my dwarves can fight with picks, so I'll take those off. Those are gone. Dwarven beer, I don't need 40. 20 is sufficient, so I'll take 20 dwarven beer and just some rum for fun. Plump helmet spawns, I want at least 10 of these. So I'll go down that. Pigtail seeds are important. Cave wheats, we're not going to grow those anyway, so let's get rid of those and sweet pods, and if we need those, we can come back and get it later. Dimple cups, yeah, we can do that. We'll keep those. We don't need prepared heart or donkey heart. That doesn't even sound appetizing. And we don't need turtle. So let's just go take that down to 5, just for some variety. And we're gonna go with some plump helmets already, some thread, some cloth, some bags, some blue peafowl leather quivers. Let's take that down to 2. We only need 2 buckets. Okay, now that's it. That's all we have on us right now. But if you look over here in the corner, you see we have 350 points now. For good game, you want some livestock. So I'm going to grab a yak bull and a yak cow. They will mate. They will make babies, and we will have babies. Okay, and you want to come down here, and because we got 148 points left, you want to come all the way down to here, because you could do this in one of 2 ways. Let's go. My symbols aren't working there. I forgot about that. So I guess I'm going to take 1 of each. I'm going to take 1 war dog of that sex and 1 war dog of that sex. But I guess with the true type font, you don't get the sex icon, so I'm going to have to change that. We're going to take 1 of each cat, and we're going to take I think we're going to take a couple of hens and a rooster. So we're going to take 2 hens and a rooster. Now that will help us out a lot going down the road a ways. Now we have 46 points to spend, so I always like to do this. DJ Rod W showed me this, and I think it's a good idea because it gets you some storage. But if you go to new, item N for new, and you go to meat and buy yourself a bunch of single meats, the 2-point single meats, because you get the barrel it comes in when it's gone. So you just basically go through here and use up the remainder of your points on random nasty meats. Boom, like that. So yak sweetbread, yak tripe, that doesn't even sound good, but there you go. So now we've got all kinds of items, we've got all kinds of skills, we've got all kinds of everything, and I think we are ready. So let's take one last look at our awesome dwarves with Tiris Mozuzazazazazazan. And we're going to name this group using this system. Right now they're the Cudgel of Strategy, which I don't know, let's just random that. The Hammer of Merc. Ah, that's perfect! 1 randomization, and boom, there you go. Boom! there you go. So escape for done, and we go back to the E button, which sends us on the E bark. And you're not going to get anything when you hit the E. You're not going to get anything. You're just going to say, "What did I hit?" But trust me, it's doing something right now. In a few seconds, boom! It's a mess. Somebody lied to that dwarf. Oh my god. So usually when you hit the screen, you have one or two options to proceed. If it doesn't tell you anything, just try hitting enter. That usually works. Now when you start out, the game starts paused. What we want to do is we want to get rid of these 3 screens and just get down to 2. And you can do that by hitting your tab. Tab gets rid of the world, and then it moves that over. We move around with our arrow keys to have a looky-see. We see the blue there is water. The little tree looking things are trees, the little bush looking things are bush, and if you hit your K option, you can go over a square and see what it is. That's red sand. That's just pretty good. Red sand makes red clay, which is pretty nice. If you go look on the right hand side here, you have all your menus, a few announcements, buildings, a few civilizations, designations. You can read those for yourself, but each one has a very specific function. Initially, what we want to do is we want to look around. So if you scroll up, your view gets a little bit bigger. The words get harder to read, but the view gets a little bigger. And you can look around. This is the level that we're on, which is 140. If you look on the bottom right-hand screen, that's 140. You can't really see down below. If you look right here, that's 1 level down. And you can just barely see what it is. If you want to go down a level, you hold the shift and the, I guess, would be greater than bracket, which is right next to the question mark, if I got that wrong. And you can see that it goes down a level. This is soil that we can't see through because we're not super human or anything. And this is more elevation, I guess, elevation going down, lower elevations. And you can just keep hitting that, and you can go all the way through it. And there, at the very bottom right-hand corner of our map, is our river. And we'll doing a lot of fishing from like right here probably. So. Some quick moving around tips. F1 will zoom you to your embarkation spot, and you can set the rest of those using your hotkeys option, which is the lowercase h, and you can just go through there and set those up however you want. Let's see. For right now, though, let's get started on the explanation of what things are. This is a slope. A grade from this elevation to this elevation. This is a type of thing. Look at all that right there in the wall. I got gems. This is a gem. Looks like an exclamation point. It's a gem. It's a tiger iron cluster. Come down here. It's a lignite wall. This is red sand, rock salt. There's all kinds of goodness around up on here. This is a cedar tree. This is a shrubbery. But anyway, if you want any questions, or if you have any questions of what stuff is, the best place to go is the Magma Wiki, Dwarf Fortress Magma Wiki. And you can look up what it is, like the lignite, I guess, is that what it's called? Yeah, the lignite. You look that up, it'll tell you what all it can be used for. If it's an economic stone or a metal stone. Economic stones you'd build stuff out of. Metal stones, of course, you would smelt down for ore and make bars out of, to later craft into wondrous items of dwarven invention. But I think that's pretty good for embarkation and looking around. Get to this point on your own. Just have a look around, see what you see. Hover over some stuff with the K icon. If you want to move quicker, you can hold shift down in your arrows. Will jump like I think it's 10 spots. So you can have a good look around all this. Like this yellow grass right here is a shrub. Oh my God! And here is some rock salt and some dense hair grass and some fescue grass and some dropseed grass. You see what I'm saying? You can just look around. You can read it all for yourself and figure it out. So that's I'm going to wrap this right here. And like I said, I'm not video bumping. I'm just uploading a bunch of videos that you don't get to see yet. So have an outstanding and awesome and superb and delicious day. Dwarf Fortress is the bomb.